Imagine today you are getting to meet the version of you from 5 years ago. Now, that version of you from 5 years ago, seeing you today, how do you think they would feel? What do you think they would think? Would it be a moment of congratulations and you've done this? I'm so proud of the version that you have become, and you've really worked towards evolving, changing, and growing. And I almost don't recognize you because you've done a lot in 5 years. Now, I want you to think about this. Think about you meeting the version of you from 5 years into the future today. And you get to go meet them. How would you feel about meeting that version of you in 5 years? If you do everything that you're doing today that you have done yesterday and that you're more than likely going to do tomorrow, if you continue to live like that for the next 5 years, where do you think that version of you would be? What do you think that version of you would be feeling? Now think about how you feel right now about that version of you in the future and that version of you in the past. All three of you guys are in the room together. What's going on in that room? How are you feeling? Honestly, how are you feeling? I just want to bring awareness. That's all I'm here to do. That's it. Now, this isn't a moment to beat yourself up if you may feel like that version of you is not in a good space. You don't like where you are. That's okay. That's okay. Because this is where we start to work on that. We start to change that. And I'm here to help you. I'm here so you can take it one day at a time. Because believe it or not, there was a time where the version of me 5 years ago, I was not, I was, oh. And there was a time where I thought about the version of me in the next 5 years, and it was very cloudy. There was no clarity. I just didn't know what was going to happen. And that version of me in that moment, that present moment, was still stuck in the past. And she was also very afraid of her future. And I know there's some of you out there that feel that, and that's okay. Now, this is where we work on that. So the you are now will become the old you in 5 years. But where you will be in that next 5 years will be in a whole new light. It's going to be very different. You might not see it now. You might not know how, and that's okay. But what we're going to work on is the nervous system, healing the trauma, and creating new habits and beliefs. Okay? That's what we're going to do. And in that moment where you're that new version of yourself in 5 years, it's going to come sooner than that, but it's okay. That version of you will be proud of yourself, and you're going to know what that next 5 year version of you is going to look like. It's not going to be any fear surrounded by that. And there's not going to be any attachment towards your future or your past, okay? So I want you to sit down and grab a notebook because this is where we start to evolve and grow. Now, if you're new to this channel, welcome. Hello, I am Shania, and I am all about embodying a new version of yourself, changing your mindset, growing, and enjoying the beautiful life that you have. But not for the future, for the present, for right now, because right now is the best place to be. Because if you're not here in this moment right now, you're somewhere lost in the past and in the future, and your life is on repeat. All right. So this is where we work on that. If you would like to subscribe, definitely do that. And if you would like to like this video, you can do that. But there's no pressure. All right, I just want to be able to help. That's all. Let's talk about how growth actually happens and what that looks like. So, the first thing I want to say, growth is not pretty, okay? Nor is it ugly. All right, you have your good days, you have your bad days, but there's a bigger scale, and it's more than just your good days and your bad days. You have your good months, your good weeks, and we're going to focus more on that. Now, the first thing I want to mention is your past. That, no matter what it looks like, is very vital for your growth, because your past, it unlocks different things that you may not have seen because you were attached to the feeling. And the feeling is important, feelings are important. But we're going to start focusing on the lessons and the choices that were made. And I want to always mention this: when we dig deep, we nurture. Okay? We nurture. We don't beat up, we don't talk down on, and we're not cruel and mean to. We are nice to ourselves, the past versions, the future versions, and the current versions. But when it comes to your past, there may be things that have shaped your beliefs, that have shaped your mindset, and that shapes your actual actions, the choices that you decide to make. And all those tie hand in hand. And in order to change that in the present moment and going through the future of your life, you have to uncode how these things became a part of your nature. Okay. And the past reveals all of that. The past reveals where you have learned how to live life, where you have learned how to think about life, and how you have learned to cope with life. Okay, these are all interconnected. They're deep. All right, it's very deep. It's too deep. No, I'm just joking. Okay, but so the past, that is something that we definitely have to dig deeper on. Now, the next thing that comes with growth is action. Okay, action. This one, I could tell you, it tore me up. And it tears a lot of my people out there up. Okay, it's tearing y'all up. Action. Because we can get into this state of just, I wish, I hope, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then when it's time to do this and do that, where you at? Where you at? You said you was gonna do it. Where you at doing it? You know what I'm saying? Where you at? I don't see you doing it. I don't see you doing it. And that right there can put you in a very weird mindset, because you're like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And then it doesn't happen. And then you're like, I wanted to do this. Like, why? It just didn't work out. And, but you never did it. Like, that's the thing. You never did it. You never did it. And there comes a time where you might get into that thing just a little bit, but because you didn't receive any immediate results, because it wasn't something that was filled with intentions, it doesn't go far. And you still feel like, mission failed. Mission failed. And let me tell you, that is included in your past too. That's something you can learn from. Because why did mission fail? Why? Why did mission fail? Now, I feel like for me, in those times where I said I was going to do things, I was going to do this, I was going to do that, I'm going to become this, I'm going to start changing my ways, I'm going to start doing da 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 da. I think that It was more of the idea of it being grand, but not the actual actions to get it done being grand. You get me? Like doing it, it it didn't look pretty. It didn't look like, but the outcome looked pretty. What I would receive, all the rewards and the accolades and the prosperity of it, that was beautiful. And that right there is what keeps you in a little bubble, is attaching to the outcome, but not really putting in the action to get it done. And once I learned that my baby steps were pushing me in that direction, no matter if it was a big step or a baby step, or one day there was no step at all, but the next day there was a step. And I realized that compounding those things got me to that life. One, it made the actions not look so scary. And two, along the way, because the actions weren't so scary, I started to detach from the outcome more of the big grand thing on, at the end. And I started to just realize if you do it every day, it's going to come. Like, how do you make it easy for yourself to get these actions done? No matter what it is, no matter if it's going to the gym, starting a new career, or pouring into a new idea, anything creative. It really doesn't matter what it is. It could even be relationship wise, the people in your life. What actions are you going to take to get to this grand outcome? And how can you make that process sustainable and easy so that way you can take actions to doing these things? Okay? Um, we're cooking. We're cooking, guys. All right, we talked about the past and we also talked about your actions and how that all pertains to your growth. And I think the final thing is the mindset. I won't say final thing because there's a few more components, but these are going to be the three we focus on today, right now. I don't want to fuel you with too much and you don't know what to do with it, because we got to take action. That's the number one thing. But your mindset. I say it all the time. Mindset. That's all I think about is mindset. Your mindset. How is your mindset? Mindset. All right. Your mindset is very important because that is what's going to fuel you when there is no motivation. Now, let me hold your hand. Come here. When I say this, motivation ain't a good friend, okay? Motivation is not a good friend, and you don't need motivation, all right? Because the real about it, let me tell you about motivation. Let me tell you about this type of friend, okay? Because it ain't your real friend. This the friend that come through with all these grand ideas and all this fun stuff and get you hyped up and be like, yeah, we got this. We gonna do this. Woo, 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 woo. And motivation gets you started. And you got all this stuff you done worked on, that you done started on, that you was so hype about, and now motivation gone. Okay? Motivation ain't answering the phone. Motivation ain't answering no text messages. Motivation is not there. And you're stuck with all this stuff. Okay? This is why we don't need motivation. We don't rely on motivation, because motivation will leave you high and dry. And then you're going to be the one left with everything, while motivation is somewhere having a great time in somebody else's life. Like, no. You want to know who our best friend is? Our real die hard, got your back best friend, discipline and consistency. All right. We're going to get into that in another day. I just want to get you prepped for where we're going with this. All right. So if you're down with it, I need you to drop in the comment, let's go, because it's time for us to get up and we got stuff to do. All right. Now, I just want to thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this journey. I'm going to always say this. I believe in you and I know you can do it. I know you can. You just have to lock in, okay? But remember, baby steps. Consistency loves baby steps. Consistency loves to see that you're just taking it one little step at a time. And if you can give it your all and do a big jump, do that with clarity, okay? But we taking baby steps, all right? Now, I love you dearly, friend, and I can't wait to see you next time, okay? Peace.